Los Angeles Lakers, and LeBron James gets his man once again. So the Lakers in a blockbuster deal landing Russell Westbrook for Kyle Kuzma, KCP, Montrezl Harrell, and a couple draft picks, a 2024 second rounder and a 2028 second rounder. So right here, the Wizards, they couldn't even get a first rounder in this deal, but they get three decent players here, and the reports were coming out that Westbrook wanted to go to LA, and this trade came along quickly here, right before the draft here. So now the Lakers with another big three of Westbrook, LeBron James, and obviously Anthony Davis. So Westbrook, this will be his third team in as many seasons here, and he's really bounced around the league since OKC traded him a few seasons ago. Then he went to Houston, then last season to the Wizards for John Wall, and now here to the Lakers, his hometown team. So this Laker team, they're trying to make one more big run at the championship. After last season, the Phoenix Suns eliminated them pretty easy in the first round of the playoffs, and they pretty much got their bench and starting lineup here of the Lakers. So Westbrook, another great season on paper for him, averaging a triple-double last year, 22.2 points a game, 11.5 rebounds, 11.7 assists, 1.4 steals, 65% only from the foul line, 1.3 threes a game, and a pretty awful 43% from the field. So right here, his field goal attempts probably will go down for this Los Angeles Lakers team. And we saw with him and James Harden in Houston that the numbers definitely went down a little bit here in field goal attempts and stuff. But he actually shot a better percentage with Houston than he did over there in Washington, especially at the foul line, 11 points higher. But anyway, this is a big deal for the Lakers, and this is pretty much going to be the roster for the Lakers. Now they're going to fill in with some minimum free agents and stuff, because I believe they're paying between Westbrook, Davis, and LeBron $120 million already on the books here. But right here, this is the big move the Lakers wanted. We heard they were interested in Damian Lillard. We heard they were interested in Chris Paul, but right here, Russell Westbrook, they land instead. And to be honest, they didn't give up that much than I thought they would have had to get Westbrook. No first-round picks in the deal. KCP, we know he's a decent role player. Montrezl Harrell, he signed on last season, and he just really didn't fit this Laker team. And Kyle Kuzma, Laker fans hated this guy for seasons. So as far as his fantasy basketball goes for Russell Westbrook in this trade, obviously it's a big acquisition, but I think the numbers are going to take a dip here for him. He probably still would average close to a triple-double, but his field goal percentage is still going to be low in the 40s, I think. His free throw percentage was pretty bad last season, and he don't really hit three-pointers, but obviously I think the rebounds and assists are going to go up for him, but the points per game will drop. But right here, this is a deal the Lakers needed to make after last season. They got destroyed in the first round of the playoffs. LeBron's another year older. Anthony Davis, he just hasn't stayed healthy pretty much throughout his career. And Westbrook, we know he's been banged up, but Westbrook, we know he goes out there every game and he tries his best, and he still has one of the best motors in all of the NBA, no doubt about it. But I just don't think these guys fit as good as people will think here, because him and LeBron, they're not great outside shooters. They're not good free throw shooters. Obviously, this Laker team still will go pretty deep in the playoffs, in my opinion, but I don't think this move puts them over the top to win the championship next year. But right here, Westbrook, he'll probably be a second or third rounder entering fantasy drafts before the season here. Now we'll go to the Washington Wizards side of things. Right here, they get Harrell, Caldwell Pope, and Kuzma, and I think Harrell, they could probably trade him or just release him before free agency starts here in August 2nd, because he did pick up his player option in this deal. So no doubt about it, Harrell's going to get paid either way. And we'll start with him out of the three guys in this trade. So Montrezl Harrell last season, like I mentioned with the Lakers, he didn't get much playing time like he did with the Clippers the year before. 13.5 points a game, 6.2 rebounds, 1.1 assist, 70% from the foul line, but a great 62% from the field for Montrezl Harrell in limited time last year, especially once Andre Drummond signed with the Los Angeles Lakers. He just didn't play at all, especially in the playoffs, was Harrell. So Harrell, we know he was the sixth man of the year with the Los Angeles Clippers in the 2019-2020 season, and now he's on his third team as well And like I said, I don't think he's going to stay with the Wizards. I think he's either going to get bought out or traded by the end of the offseason here is Harrell. So Harrell, wherever he lands, he's going to have a bigger role this season. If he don't stay with Washington or go somewhere else, I think he's going to play 30, 35 minutes a game and be a six-man for wherever he lands. So he'll probably be a player that you're going to target in fantasy leagues, 9th to 10th round in most leagues here. Is a guy that's going to be a utility player or a guy that's going to be your backup reserve on the bench here. But Montrezl Harrell, it was good for him to get out of Los Angeles, in my opinion, especially for his fantasy value. He just didn't play, and for whatever reason, Frank Vogel didn't use him, and LeBron James just didn't like him. And we know LeBron James, he manages that Laker team, and he has to sign off pretty much on every move and every decision they make with the coaching staff over there as well. So right here, Harrell, he needed out of LA, and we'll see if Washington's his final stop. But in my opinion, I don't think it is. Now to Caldwell Pope, he's been a good spot-up shooter the last couple seasons, and he definitely fit this Laker team as a guy that could outside shoot and create a shot as well. But obviously, he had inconsistencies as well with the Lakers. But right in here, he goes to Washington, and Bradley Beal, he needs some shooters around him, and him and the Westbrook experiment just didn't work either last season. Well, Westbrook not really being a great shooter, even though he did average a triple-double the whole year. So last year for Caldwell Pope, 9.7 points a game, 2.7 rebounds, 2 assists, 1.8 threes a game, 86% from the foul line, and 43% from the field, which obviously is a huge poor number in my opinion. But right now, he's going to get more shot attempts. He's going to get a lot of spot-up threes with Bradley Beal getting double-teamed at times over there in Washington. And he's a good role player, like I mentioned, is Caldwell Pope. But it's a better real-life move, in my opinion, the landing spot for Pope, than a fantasy move here. Washington Wizards. So right here, Caldwell Pope, he still has, I believe, 2 or 3 years at decent money on his contract. And he'll be a hard contract to move if the Wizards decide not to keep him as well. But they got to keep a couple guys in this deal. So I think they're going to keep Kuzma and they're going to keep Caldwell Pope. But for fantasy basketball, he's probably a player, Caldwell Pope. You're going to take in the later rounds, a later round flyer, because we don't know what his role is going to be right away. And like I mentioned, last season he was only owned in 20% of fantasy leagues. But he's definitely going to have a bigger role and have more shot attempts, in my opinion, here with the Washington Wizards. And now on to Kyle Kuzma. A lot of Laker fans hated him, but I think he was a decent ball player the last few seasons, and he's been a guy that could score the basketball, and he was a decent rebounder as well in extended minutes when we saw injuries to the Lakers last season with LeBron and Anthony Davis out. So last year for Kuzma, 12.9 points a game, 6.1 rebounds, 2 assists a game, 2 threes a game, 69% from the foul line, another awful shooter, and 44% from the field. So the Los Angeles Lakers, these guys couldn't shoot the basketball at a great percentage. And then they bring in Russell Westbrook. I know he puts up all the big numbers and stuff, but he's another guy that can't shoot threes, and he had a low shooting percentage as well over the last few seasons. So Kyle Kuzma, everyone hated him, like I mentioned, in Los Angeles, and now he finally gets out of there, and he goes to the Washington Wizards, where immediately, in my opinion, he's the second best player on the roster, and he's going to be starting 35, 40 minutes a game at the small forward position next to Bradley Beal. And I think these two guys could coexist and could surprise teams this season in the Eastern Conference, where they could probably get the 6th or 7th seed like they pretty much did last season with Westbrook and Beal getting into the playing game. And Bradley Beal already said that he wants to stay over there in Washington, so that's a good sign. Russell Westbrook, he wanted out, and this trade made sense here, where he goes to his hometown team in the Los Angeles Lakers. But right here, I just don't think this move puts the Lakers all the way in the top as the favorite in the Western Conference. Phoenix, they're still going to be there. We're still going to see, obviously, these other teams that had pretty good seasons. We saw the Suns. We saw the Clippers, if Kawhi and Paul George stay, go pretty deep into the playoffs. Dallas with Jason Kidd, I think that was a good hire at the head coach position. And right here, yeah, you get Westbrook. It's great on paper, but now you got no bench. And now you got another guy who really can't shoot threes or foul shots. So right here, The Lakers, they're still going to be one of the best teams in the West, no doubt about it. But I just don't think this is a total move where they're going to be a shoo-in my opinion. And we still got to see how the rest of the offseason shakes out. But right here, Kyle Kuzma, he goes to the Wizards. He's definitely a winner in this deal for fantasy basketball as well. And I think he's a player you probably target who could definitely be a sleeper as well. Like a lot of people aren't going to target in drafts in the upcoming season. Probably 9th to 10th round, I think you could get Kuzma, or even earlier. So right here, the big blockbuster deal of the NBA so far before the offseason officially really kicks off. Russell Westbrook traded to his hometown Lakers, and we'll see if it's the big move that puts the Lakers over the top and win them the championship in the upcoming 2021-2022 season. And we'll see what these guys do for fantasy basketball as well.